Most gardeners judge every plant by one simple question. What does it produce? Tomatoes, beans, peppers, potatoes. Everything earns its place by what ends up on the table. Anything that doesn't produce gets removed. Flowers become decoration. Wild herbs become weeds. But some of the most valuable plants in any garden never feed you directly. They protect everything growing around them, without most gardeners ever realizing it. What if the most important plant in your garden isn't there to feed you at all? Nature doesn't give every plant the same job. Some produce, some attract, some distract. Some feed the insects that protect everything else. Most gardeners never see that system working because they remove it before it has the chance. Flowers get pulled. Herbs that aren't harvested get cleared. Anything not producing food gets replaced by something that does. But some of those removed plants were protecting the ones left behind. Plants don't only compete with each other. Many cooperate, quietly, invisibly, in ways that have nothing to do with how a gardener planned it. Some attract predators. Some distract pests. Some feed the beneficial insects that couldn't survive without them. Some act almost like bodyguards, and most gardens remove them before they ever get the chance to work. Nasturtium, the sacrifice. If one plant is willing to take the first attack, everything growing behind it has a better chance. That's exactly what nasturtium does. Aphids find it irresistible. Given any choice, they move toward nasturtium first, consistently every season, while the surrounding crops stay largely untouched. Most people see a nasturtium covered in aphids and assume it's losing. It isn't losing. It's doing its job. Every aphid on that plant is one that didn't reach the tomatoes. It took the hit so everything behind it didn't have to. Dill, the predator recruiter. But not every defender absorbs the attack. Some of them recruit. Dill doesn't fight pests. It quietly brings in the hunters. Hoverflies, parasitic wasps, insects that spend their lives hunting aphids and pest eggs. They need two things: prey and a food source of their own. Dill flowers provide that second requirement reliably, season after season. Without it, the hunters have no reason to stay. With it, the garden builds its own security system, one that costs nothing and replaces itself every year. Sweet alyssum, the fuel station. Predators can't protect a garden if they have nothing to eat. That's what most people miss. Beneficial insects need nectar to survive. Remove the flowers that provide it, and they move on, not because the pests ran out, but because the fuel did. Sweet alyssum solves that quietly. Tiny flowers, almost invisible from a distance. But to a hoverfly or parasitic wasp, it's a consistent food source that keeps them present long enough to do the work they were going to do anyway. It doesn't fight anything. It simply makes sure the fighters stay. Pause here for a moment. Something has been connecting across every plant in this video. Nasturtium draws the attack away. Dill recruits the predators. Sweet alyssum keeps them fed and present. None of them are doing the same thing, but all of them are doing something for everything else around them. The garden stops looking like a collection of individual plants. It starts looking like one living system, where some plants feed us, some feed pollinators, some feed predators, and some quietly absorb the damage so others don't have to. The healthiest gardens don't simply grow vegetables. They grow relationships. Yarrow, the long-term defender. Not every defender works in a single season. Yarrow has appeared in human gardens across multiple continents for longer than most records exist. That kind of persistence doesn't happen accidentally. People noticed something working and kept it close. Flat-topped flowers that attract an extraordinary range of beneficial insects. Deep roots that pull minerals upward through the soil. resilience through drought and neglect, keeping it functioning when everything else gives up. It asks for almost nothing. It quietly builds a more stable ecosystem around everything growing near it. Some plants earn their place through one season's usefulness. Yarrow earns it by never stopping. Borage, the pollinator magnet. Sometimes protecting a harvest starts long before there's anything visible to protect. Borage produces flowers that bees find consistently attractive, not occasionally, but actively, throughout the entire blooming period. More bees mean more reliable pollination for every nearby flowering vegetable. More reliable pollination means a better harvest. The defense here was never about pests. It was about making sure the right visitors arrived when they were needed most. Marigold, the diversifier. Marigolds have collected a long list of promises over the years. What's actually consistent is simpler. They add diversity, a different scent, a different flower structure, a different set of visiting insects. They break up the uniformity of a bed planted with only vegetables. And that disruption alone makes the environment harder for pest populations to move through. Not a miracle, not a guarantee, just one more plant quietly doing its part inside a much larger system. Common mistake. The most consistent mistake is removing anything that doesn't produce food. It feels logical. Space is limited. Every corner should earn its place. But sometimes the plant being removed is the one protecting the plant being kept. Pull the nasturtium, and the aphids need a new destination. Remove the dill, and the predatory wasps lose their reason to stay. Clear the sweet alyssum, and the fuel station closes. The garden looks tidier. The yields become harder to explain. How to build the system. The principle is simple. Mix vegetables with flowers and herbs. Include plants that bloom at different times, so something is always feeding beneficial insects. Vary heights and structures. Let some corners stay a little wild. Stop thinking about a garden as a collection of individual crops. Start thinking about it as a system where different plants perform different roles. Diversity isn't decoration. In a functioning garden, it's the foundation. The next time you walk through a garden, try asking a different question. Not, what can I harvest? But, what is this plant doing for everything around it? Some of the most important workers in a healthy garden will never end up on a dinner plate. They'll be the ones drawing the attack away, recruiting the hunters, keeping the pollinators present when they matter most. Some plants protect the ones that feed you. A healthy garden doesn't just grow vegetables, it grows relationships.